Sarah Lawson's tranquility was shattered by the persistent ring of the doorbell, echoing through the silent halls of her Victorian mansion. It was an unusually crisp autumn evening, the kind where shadows lengthen and the wind whispers secrets through the trees. Sarah, wrapped in a cozy shawl, had just settled into her armchair with a steaming cup of herbal tea and a novel by her favorite author. The sudden interruption was unwelcome, yet she forced a smile and headed for the door. The first visitor was a tall, gaunt man in a pinstripe suit, his face partially obscured by the brim of a black hat. He held out an ornately decorated envelope with a gold seal, which he claimed was an invitation to a grand party hosted by Sarah. Confusion crossed her face. She hadn't planned any such event, and she certainly didn't recognize this man. He muttered something about being a distant cousin and left her with a cold shiver as he walked away. Sarah's curiosity piqued, but she shrugged off the oddity, dismissing it as a prank or a misunderstanding. However, the doorbell rang again and again, each time bringing a new stranger, each presenting their own elaborate invitation to the elusive party. The guests seemed increasingly insistent, their eyes filled with an unnerving desperation. As the evening wore on, Sarah began to feel a gnawing unease. She had no recollection of sending out such invitations or planning an event. Each visitor left behind a card, some with handwritten notes, referencing peculiar details about her home's history. The final guest, a woman dressed in Victorian garb, whispered an ominous warning before vanishing into the night. The past has come to claim what it's owed. Unable to shake the feeling of dread, Sarah retreated to her study, where she rifled through old documents and family records, searching for any clue about the mysterious invitations. Her research yielded nothing but a growing sense of foreboding. She found a stack of aged envelopes hidden in a drawer, their intricate designs matching those of the invitations she had received. As Sarah examined the envelopes, she stumbled upon an old photograph of her house, taken in the late 1800s. The image showed a different facade, and in the corner of the photograph, a shadowy figure stood watching from a window, a figure that bore a disturbing resemblance to one of her recent visitors. The realization struck her like a bolt of lightning. Her home's history was deeply entwined with the present disturbances. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah decided to investigate further. Her search led her to a hidden compartment behind a loose panel in the library. Inside, she discovered a concealed room filled with dusty relics and faded documents. Among the items was a journal detailing a series of tragic events involving a secretive society and a long-forgotten curse tied to her family. The journal revealed that decades ago, her ancestors had been involved in dark rituals, attempting to harness forbidden knowledge and summon otherworldly entities. The society had been disbanded after a series of mysterious deaths, but not before their rituals had left a lingering malevolence in the house. The invitations were not merely invitations. They were a way to lure unsuspecting individuals into a ritual that would awaken the dark forces. As Sarah delved deeper into the journal, she realized that the Uninvited guests were part of a sinister plan to resurrect the society's cursing. Each visitor represented a piece of the puzzle needed to complete the ritual and unleash the ancient malevolence trapped within the house. Sarah's home was not just a place of memories, but a vessel for a dark force that sought to reclaim its power. Sarah's investigation led her to Evelyn Hartfield, the town historian whose obsession with Maplewood's dark past had always been apparent. Evelyn had been quietly orchestrating the events, hoping to revive the society and complete the unfinished ritual. She had manipulated Sarah's history and the invitations to lure her into playing a key role in the dark ceremony. The confrontation with Evelyn was intense and filled with psychological terror. Evelyn's true intentions were revealed. She sought to use the ritual to bind the dark force to Sarah, making her a conduit for the entity's return. The stakes were higher than Sarah could have imagined, as Evelyn's plan threatened not only her life, but the safety of everyone in Maplewood. As the night of the supposed grand party approached, Sarah knew she had to act quickly to thwart Evelyn's plans. With the help of her friends and neighbors, who were initially skeptical but gradually came to understand the gravity of the situation, she devised a plan to disrupt the ritual and seal the dark force away once more. The climax unfolded in a harrowing confrontation in the hidden room, where Evelyn attempted to complete the ritual amidst the chaos. Sarah, driven by a mixture of fear and determination, managed to uncover the final piece of the puzzle and reverse the ritual's effects. The dark force was temporarily contained, but the scars of the night's events would linger. The dawn broke over Maplewood, casting a golden light on a town forever changed by the night's events. Sarah's home stood silent, the lingering echoes of the past gradually fading. The invitations and the uninvited guests were gone, but their impact had left an indelible mark on Sarah's life. As she stood in the now quiet house, Sarah felt a sense of both relief and melancholy. The darkness had been pushed back, but the knowledge of its presence would forever haunt her. Maplewood's picturesque facade had been shattered, revealing the sinister truths that lay beneath. In the end, Sarah Lawson's quiet life had been irrevocably altered, and the house on the hill would forever be a reminder of the night when the past came knocking, uninvited. Emma Reynolds stood in the middle of her new kitchen, marveling at how the old farmhouse had transformed into a cozy modern haven. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air, blending with the faint scent of wood polish. It was a bright afternoon, and the sun filtered through the large windows, casting warm light on the newly renovated interior. She was savoring the tranquility when the doorbell rang, a sound that seemed jarringly out of place in her otherwise peaceful sanctuary. She answered the door to find a man in his late 50s, dressed in an old-fashioned suit that seemed out of place. He carried a large, ornately wrapped box and introduced himself as Richard Halloway. He claimed to have been invited by Emma to stay at the farmhouse. The gift, he said, was a token of appreciation for the invitation. Emma was taken aback. She had no memory of extending any such invitation. The man's manner was polite, but his eyes held a glint of something unsettling. As he left, she examined the box, but the contents were no less strange. A beautifully crafted antique mirror with intricate carvings that seemed almost alive in its detail. Over the following days, more visitors arrived, each bringing their own peculiar gift. A young woman named Clara delivered a delicate music box that played a hauntingly familiar tune. An elderly couple arrived with a vintage photograph of the farmhouse, showing a previous, more sinister incarnation of the home. Each gift seemed oddly personalized, as if the visitors knew something about Emma's past that she did not. Emma's unease grew as she noticed that each gift had an unsettling connection to her new home's history. The photograph showed a dark ceremony taking place in her living room, and the music box played a tune that seemed to echo voices from her nightmares. The gifts were accompanied by cryptic notes hinting at past events she had no recollection of. Desperate for answers, Emma began researching the history of the farmhouse. Her search led her to old records and newspaper articles about the village of Harrow's End. She discovered that the farmhouse was once the center of dark rituals, performed by a secretive society known as the Order of the Shadowed Crescent. These rituals were intended to summon and control malevolent forces, but the society had been disbanded after a series of mysterious deaths. Emma's investigation revealed that her own family was involved in these rituals. Her great-grandparents had been prominent members of the society, and their actions had left a lingering curse on the farmhouse. The uninvited guests were part of a ritualistic scheme to awaken the dark forces and reclaim the power that had been lost. As Emma delved deeper, she encountered Vincent Devereaux, the town's antiquarian. Vincent's obsession with the occult and his knowledge of the farmhouse's history made him a formidable and dangerous figure. He revealed himself as the orchestrator of the visitors' arrival, manipulating them to complete the ritual. Vincent's plan was to use Emma's connection to the farmhouse to revive the Order of the Shadowed Crescent and unleash the dark forces trapped within. His motivations were driven by a twisted sense of legacy and revenge, as he sought to restore the power that had been stripped from his ancestors. Emma confronted Vincent in a dramatic showdown at the farmhouse. The confrontation was intense and fraught with psychological terror, as Vincent's manipulative tactics and the dark forces at play threatened to consume her. Emma's bravery and determination were put to the ultimate test as she fought to prevent the ritual from being completed. On the night of the final confrontation, Vincent attempted to complete the ritual using the gifts and the artifacts from the farmhouse. Emma, with the help of a few trusted allies, intervened to disrupt the ceremony. The struggle was fierce, and the atmosphere was charged with malevolent energy. Emma managed to use the knowledge she had uncovered to counteract the ritual and seal the dark forces away once more. The farmhouse's dark history was temporarily contained, but the impact of the night's events left a lasting mark on Emma and the village of Harrow's End. As dawn broke over Harrow's End, the farmhouse stood silent, the echoes of the past gradually fading. Emma's life was forever changed by the events of the night, and the farmhouse remained a poignant reminder of the dark forces that had been awakened. Emma's decision to stay in the farmhouse was a testament to her resilience and courage. The villagers, once wary and reserved, began to acknowledge the truth of the dark history and the role Emma had played in confronting it. The uninvited guests were gone, but their impact lingered, a chilling reminder of the hidden dangers that lay beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. Tom Miller was in the middle of drafting an article on corporate corruption when the first visitor arrived. The doorbell rang with a sharp, insistent tone that cut through the quiet of his apartment. Tom frowned, puzzled. He wasn't expecting anyone. Opening the door, he was greeted by a man in his mid-30s, dressed in a suit that looked like it belonged in a different era. The man introduced himself as Peter Lawson and claimed he had received an invitation to a gathering hosted by Tom. Tom's confusion deepened. He had no memory of sending out any such invitations. Peter handed over a large, ornate envelope with Tom's name written in elaborate script. Inside the envelope was a handwritten note. "We're eager to see you. The past has much to reveal." Peter handed over a small, old-fashioned key and left without further explanation. Tom stared at the key, feeling a chill despite the warm apartment. Over the next few days, Tom's apartment became a revolving door of uninvited guests. Each visitor, from a middle-aged woman claiming to be a distant relative to a young couple who seemed oddly familiar with Tom's personal life, brought their own peculiar gift. The gifts ranged from antique books to cryptic photographs, each accompanied by more unsettling notes. As Tom tried to make sense of the situation, he discovered that each visitor had a personal connection to the old mystery he was beginning to unravel. The gifts and notes were linked to disappearances that had occurred decades ago in Greystone, involving people who had vanished without a trace. Tom's initial frustration turned to fear as the guests became increasingly insistent and demanding. They hinted at hidden truths and unspoken connections, driving Tom to delve deeper into the mystery. Determined to uncover the truth, Tom began researching the history of Greystone and the old disappearances. His investigation led him to archives, dusty libraries, and old newspapers. He discovered that the disappearances were connected to a series of gatherings held by a secret society in the early 1900s. These gatherings had involved strange rituals and occult practices. Tom's research pointed to a pattern. The names of the disappeared matched those of the current visitors. It became clear that someone was using the invitations to manipulate him and draw out the hidden truth about the old case. The cryptic messages and gifts were part of a larger, sinister scheme. Tom's investigation led him to Evelyn Mercer, a historian known for her obsession with unsolved mysteries. Evelyn was the mastermind behind the uninvited guests and the orchestrator of the elaborate scheme. Her motivations were driven by a personal vendetta and a desire to uncover the truth about the disappearances, which she believed were linked to her own family's dark past. In a tense confrontation, Evelyn revealed her plan to use Tom to expose the truth about the disappearances. She had manipulated the visitors and the gifts to lead Tom to the heart of the mystery. Evelyn's calculating nature and her deep knowledge of the case made her a formidable adversary. The final confrontation took place in Tom's apartment, which had become a stage for the unfolding drama. Evelyn attempted to use the artifacts and messages to complete a ritual that would reveal the truth about the disappearances. The apartment was filled with a palpable sense of dread as the ritual unfolded, and Tom faced the horrifying realization of what had truly happened. Tom, with the help of his investigative skills and the clues he had pieced together, managed to thwart Evelyn's plan. The confrontation was intense, with psychological manipulation and supernatural elements intertwining. Tom uncovered the hidden truth about the disappearances and put an end to Evelyn's scheme. As the dust settled, Tom's apartment was left in a state of eerie calm. The visitors had vanished and Evelyn was taken into custody. The mystery of the disappearances was finally resolved, but the impact of the events left a lasting mark on Tom. Tom's life returned to a semblance of normalcy, but the echoes of the past lingered. The apartment, once a place of unsettling occurrences, became a reminder of the dark history that had come to light. Tom's experience served as a testament to the power of history and the consequences of unearthing buried secrets.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. We hope these chilling tales of uninvited guests and forgotten invitations have left you with a sense of lingering dread. If you enjoyed these stories and want to hear more spine-tingling content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay safe and remember, sometimes the real horror is what waits for you in the dark corners of your own world. Sweet dreams.